Hey Trent, good morning. How are you? Let
Good
everyone know who
morning,
you are.
Kim. Good morning, Kim. Happy to be here. I hope you're doing well. Trent Turner, Family First Funding, Branch Manager, NMLS 207-8583. And it is a good day to be in the real estate business.
Oh, really? How's the market, Trent?
We think that the market is improving. We're seeing some, changes day by day, but overall, we're seeing interest rates trend down. We're seeing more applications come in. So, it's a good time to be involved in real estate and a great time to add value to our clients.
Awesome. So let's talk about something that is a part of every transaction, for the most part, unless it's a cash deal and then it's optional. Why do we need appraisals, Trent?
So appraisals are very important. An appraisal is a third-party report that essentially protects the borrower and or purchaser as well as the bank, the lender. So an appraisal will be ordered by someone outside of the contracted parties, the seller, the buyer, and it's ordered by the lender, but performed by a third party. They come out, assess the market conditions, in the event of a single family home. It sells typically within the last 6 months within a certain geographical distance, 3 miles, 5 miles, and they'll compare what those sales are and come up with a value based on today's market. And that will ensure that the price that you're purchasing a home for is in line with the appraisal, and you're not over borrowing on a home, you're not paying too much for a home. So that's essentially what an appraisal is used for in this context.
Okay, so it's a third party, kind of neutral party that actually does the appraisal, and appraisals are pretty much subjective, right? Is it really the opinion of the person that's actually doing the appraisal, or do they use some type of kind of automated system to kind of come up with what their value ends up being?
Yeah, they can use an automated system, but typically they'll review the comps through the MLS, and they'll go in, discount based on the number of bedrooms, add based on more bathrooms or different distinct features of the home, maybe a pool, maybe a bigger backyard, maybe a walkout basement, and they'll use more so their opinion and their method of calculating that to add in and come up with the value. So it's a mixture of both. It's an automated system, but overall they're using their intellectual attributes to come up with the value of the home. And we can talk about when an appraisal is needed if you like.
Sure.
Typically, a lender, if you're financing a home, will require an appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
In certain circumstances, if you're putting down 20% and you're extremely credit worthy, great background of paying off real estate loans, other types of debt, occasionally there will be a waiver on an appraisal. That doesn't happen a lot, but it's possible. In addition, if you're purchasing a home cash, typically, there's no lender involved typically, so you're not required to get an appraisal. I would say it's good practice to always get an appraisal. At least it's comforting to understand what the market value is from an individual not in the transaction.
Do you see more of the automated appraisals with refinances?
Yeah, so COVID, that was a wild time. A lot of appraisals were what we call desktop appraisals. Nowadays that has changed. Where on refinances, an appraiser is actually going out. The volume based on the low interest rates, the demand for refinancing, it made it impractical for an appraiser to get to all of the homes. And at the time, values were really going up, like up and to the right, if you will. So desktop appraisals were being utilized, and we still use desktop appraisals in certain instances, but more often than not, an actual physical human being is going out to review the property and write up a report, an appraisal report.
Okay. And how do lenders handle disputes?
So that's an excellent question. It often depends on the loan program. So one interesting feature of ordering an appraisal, we order through an appraisal management company, which then contracts with the independent appraiser or appraisal firm, and they come up with an appraisal. It gets sent back to the AMC and the appraisal management company. They review it for accuracy, and then they release it to the lender, the buyer, and the buyer who ultimately paid for the appraisal. In the event that the buyer thinks that the appraisal is too high or too low, or they don't feel comfortable, they can contact the lender and fill out an appraisal dispute form, and we can typically dispute the appraisal with the appraisal management company. Now, if you're doing a VA loan, which is one of the best loan products you can do, VA is most interested in the benefit of the veteran. So let's say you're purchasing a home for $500,000 and it comes in at $480,000, but the veteran is thinking, I think the home is worth more than $500,000. This is why I don't want to make up the gap of the appraisal. The VA will review the case directly outside of the AMC and make a deciding judgment on if the value, what that rebuttal amount suggest, or where they think the value is based on the information the original appraiser provided. Now, we understand that things are changing as it relates to FHA and they will be reviewing rebuttals directly in some cases. That hasn't rolled out yet as of today, but a very interesting feature. But there's a lot of safeguards in place to ensure that there is an appraisal fraud, someone just marking up the price of the home and taking out a big loan and divvying out those proceeds. There are layers involved to ensure that it's a clean and a clean process.
Mm-hmm. And what can someone do if they feel like their appraisal came in lower than it should be?
They can certainly, I say the first thing to do is talk to your lender and your realtor. If you've got a really good team, like Kim and I, will look and review and communicate. Typically, the realtor will review the original appraisal and ensure that everything was listed. Maybe they missed a whole bedroom. It happens sometimes. So we'll go out, you'll write up what they missed or why you think this price isn't what it should be. We put that in a report, and your lender will submit that back over to either the AMC, VA, FHA, and they'll review it. But I would encourage everyone to really look and read those appraisal reports because, again, oftentimes it's a software with a human being. Things can be missed sometimes. It's very rare, but it happens. And really go through it and ensure that it's accurate.
Awesome. Thanks. How can people find you, Trent?
They can call me 601-291-3135. Reach me on Instagram, Banking on Real Estate. Would love to talk with anyone, whatever their needs are.
Awesome. We appreciate you, Trent. Talk to you soon. 2023, I'll be talking to lenders, some of my vendor partners, just to give you a better idea of how the process works. So buying a home, selling a home. I think education is very important at this time to keep buyers and sellers informed about what's happening in the market. So look out for those videos. Thanks.